Back here on the PAC Sports Network for our halftime show as we're at the break between Washington and Jefferson and Allegheny. And we have the pleasure now to be joined by the head coach of the W&J Presidents men's basketball team, Coach Ethan Stewart Smith. Coach, first off, thanks so much for joining us today. I know that we're not quite to the halfway point of the season, but through the first 11 or 12 games, what have you really liked about this year's team?
Yeah, I think just it's kind of twofold. One, the chemistry that's going to continue to build. I've really enjoyed just our approach collectively, night in and night out, and how we kind of lift each other up consistently. We've had different nights where different guys have had to step up and really feel like we've just naturally had almost somebody new every single night kind of step up and do some things that we need to do in order to get a result that we want. So it's been really fun just to see that growth in general, where we've shown up on a nightly basis and not really exactly sure how a game is going to go, but we've had guys that have really stepped up and done what we needed to do on a nightly basis.
Well, it seems that it started from the very beginning of the year. I want to kind of play, the rewind button a little bit. You guys had a huge win against Baldwin Wallace, and for you at home that night might not be familiar, they're a top-tier Division III program. Since that win, how much has that maybe built up the confidence in this group? I know you have a lot of young guys on the team that are getting some big minutes. So how important was it to get that type of confidence booster so early in the season?
Yeah, really important. I think, when we kind of rewind and our returners just hadn't done a great job of closing out tight games. And that's something that we've done a really good job with so far this year. So just kind of getting that experience of learning how to close out games, especially with young guys. We got 3 freshmen that are playing big minutes for us. So we've also gotten better as they've gotten a little bit more experience and a little bit more comfortable with preparation and just what to expect at the collegiate level. So just that growth and that confidence to go into any game, and think that we're going to win it and close it out has been really refreshing for this group and something that's really been needed. And I think you see it in our play. And again, just the overall confidence level for 40 minutes, we are confident that we're going to go out there and get the job done.
And I know you've had a lot of help from your coaching staff. I know you've missed some time with a personal matter off court, but your assistant coach, Evan Benor, he's done a phenomenal job, especially guiding the team to a big win against a ranked team in Carnegie Mellon. How much reassurance has that given you as the head coach, knowing that, hey, I not only have trusted players that I can trust on the court, but I've also got trusted staff guys and other coaches that can step up for me?
Yeah, that's a direct reflection of Evan. That was one of the, Coach Bernard, that's one of the reasons why I was so thrilled to work with him. Geez, now this is, I think, year 5 or 6 of us together. So he's been instrumental in building our identity, especially with kind of the full court pressure stuff, and makes those types of situations really easy. If there's something that, I need to tend to, I know there's not going to be a drop off from a coaching standpoint, right? And we said that before my time, whenever I had to step away, that there wasn't going to be a drop in coaching. There wasn't going to be a drop in playing. He's essentially a co-head coach. Everything that we do is collaborative, right? So his growth over his time with our program has just been so instrumental and made my life so much easier on so many levels, where it's just a really collaborative experience. And there was no doubt that he was going to have our team prepared and make every right decision in-game coaching. And he did that for 2 games. So, we're really grateful to have him leading us on the sidelines and just being such a big part of what we have done over these last few years since he arrived on campus.
Well, it's definitely evident in the play on the court, obviously. And like you mentioned about the full court pressure, that's been a big calling card for you guys recently. And I feel that also, like, some of the younger players have started to mature. Now some of those freshmen and sophomores have become sophomores and juniors, and one of them have been Alex Acosta. I've been really impressed with his growth as a player. What part of his game do you feel has had maybe the biggest impact on this team?
Yeah, I think just his demeanor, first off, and he's one of those really unselfish guys, going from not playing at all as a freshman, barely playing at all as a freshman, had a couple good games, to being a first team all league guy as a sophomore and scoring 20 a game. And now we're seeing a lot of growth in other areas, right? He's just been a really steady vocal leader for us, and we don't need him to get 20 a night this year. And he's done a really good job of just playing well outside of scoring, right? He's been an anchor on the back line of the press. He's rebounding his assist to turnover turnover is getting closer and closer to even. So he's just making the right decisions with the ball. Just another veteran presence for us that's willing to do anything that this team needs to do in order for us to be successful. And I think, another thing that he's done a really good job with is just really accepting the young guys and kind of showing them the way, right? Sometimes it's tougher for an older guy when young guys come in and carve out opportunity. And I feel like our older guys just collectively have done such a good job with our young guys of bringing them along and trusting them, and understanding that in order for us to kind of reach our ceiling, we're going to need help from some of these freshmen.
And one of those other experienced players coming back, Matt Seidel, he's been a steady presence offensively, but I think that a lot of people, they overlook the defensive side for him. And he does such a great job on that side of the ball. What is it exactly in his defensive approach that you think allows for him to be such a good reader in the passing lanes and collect so many steals?
Yeah, he's just got a really high IQ. Again, I wouldn't call him an explosive athlete, but he's athletic enough and just has really good instincts and has just done a great job on the defensive side, whether it's in the full court, again, leading us in steals. He's got almost 20 blocks on the year as well as like a 6'3" wing player. So his just timing and instincts on the defensive end are incredible. And he's had a really good bounce back year. He wasn't great on the defensive end last year, and that was something that we talked about leading into this year. And that's where, again, he's just been such a leader for us, always being in the right place. And execution defensively for him has been exactly where it should be as a veteran junior returning, who's kind of leading the charge from a defensive standpoint.
And then defensively down low, Nathan Plotner, I mean, what a job he's had from last year to this year, and his role has ascended quickly. Where do you think that his game grew the most during the offseason?
I think just confidence too. He played a lot last year, obviously, and did some really good things. We knew that his role was going to grow a little bit, and I think confidence really stems from your work ethic, right? And he's one of the guys that just lives in the gym. He's always in there in the off season, preparing, working on different aspects of his game. So when he steps on there, he's confident and does everything game speed in practice as well. So just the type of kid he is. I'm really proud and excited for him to continue to see all that work kind of pay off, because you're seeing a lot of work that has gone into the production that he has now. And he's playing great and leading us on a nightly basis on really both ends of the floor.
And a freshman that stepped in, and I actually have remarked at how talented he has been, Michael Plasko, local product from South Fayette. He's been a really nice addition. What does he bring to the table? And also, how has he been able to carve out such a special role for himself as just a freshman?
Yeah, I think he brings just a spark off the bench for us and some instant offense, right? I think everybody that has known him and seen him in high school has, of course, known his ability to score the ball, which we felt like that was going to translate from day one at the collegiate level. He's just got a great feel and a good quick first step. And, the fact that we've got some bigger bodies on the interior that can make you pay with mismatches. It's hard to switch ball screens on him consistently because that means we're going to have a mismatch on the interior. So just him being able to play in space and be efficient has been good for us. But, his growth from a defensive standpoint has been even more impressive than his offense. Again, he competes at a really high level on the defensive side. He executes what we need to in the full court or the half court. He's tough, he's physical, and he just brings another dimension, I think, from overall competitiveness, and kind of that chip on the shoulder edge standpoint that we need. He's a spark off the bench. He's confident and really gives us a boost.
Well, Coach, it definitely seems like this is the making of a really special year for Washington and Jefferson. And before we get you out of here, I'm curious to hear from you and from your perspective, what aspect or maybe characteristic of this team is going to have to be the calling card to get you guys back into the PAC tournament, but then also make a really deep run back to the title game?
Yeah, I think our ability to defend and generate offense from our defense is going to be what kind of puts us in a position to do that, right? That's the area that we've got to control games. We've got to be able to, turn people over and then get up and down and play in transition and get the ball to the rim. I think we've done a relatively good job with that. But in order for us to kind of take that next step, we're going to have to continue to do that. And I think we're going to shoot the ball a little bit better than we have in the first half of the year as well. Again, we got some bigger bodies, some guys that can really put pressure on the rim in the half court. In order to really keep teams honest, we're going to have to do a little bit better job of knocking down some perimeter shots in the second half of the year if we're going to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in our conference and have an opportunity to make a run at a conference championship.
Well, Coach, we're definitely excited here at the PAC Sports Network to see how the rest of the season goes for you and the Presidents. Again, thanks so much for stopping by, and good luck the rest of the year.
Jack, thanks so much. We really appreciate the work that you and your office does for us.
That's W&J men's basketball head coach Ethan Stewart Smith. Don't move a muscle. We've got more action in the second half coming up next right here on the PAC Sports Network.